Hey everyone, today I'll be sharing my experience using the Airlo app to manage my eSIMs for traveling in the Caribbean and Europe. We will walk through the purchase and installation of the eSIMs and see how well they worked in the many countries that we traveled to. My name is Dave and I am another nerdy Canuck. Previously, when we would travel, I would purchase a physical SIM card for our cell phones. This was to give us affordable cellular data to use for communication with our family, social media, and Google Maps for travel. However, purchasing the appropriate SIM card was challenging, and changing our SIM card while traveling always made me a bit nervous that we would lose our actual physical SIM card. My wife and I both have phones that support digital embedded SIM cards, or eSIMs, so I decided to give them a try. After researching some different eSIM options, I came to the conclusion that Airalo would be the best eSIM provider for us. I found a great review on YouTube by Michael Vance that confirmed my findings. I will put a link in the description to his review if you want to see some of the other eSIM providers and how they compare. One of the features I really like about Airlo is how it can connect with multiple providers in each country. When I would purchase a local SIM card, I needed to find the provider that would work best in the area that we were traveling. With Airlo, my understanding is that it will connect to the best service in the local area. The only downside of Airlo is that it is data only. If you are looking to have a phone number to receive calls, you would have to use a VoIP service. When traveling, we communicate via WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, and we can use those for making calls if required. I signed up on the Airlo app using a referral code. Using a referral code gave me a $3 credit on my account. If you find this video helpful, please consider using my referral code to earn a similar credit on your Airlo account. I will put a link in the description below. I have no affiliation with Airlo other than sharing this referral code that all users get. You can sign up for an Airlo account directly from the app or on your computer using a web browser. For today, I will show you the process using the app, as that is how I set it up on my wife's phone. After installing the Airlo app from the Google Play Store, I click on the referral link. It starts the app. You can see it has pre-populated my referral code, but you could also type this in manually if you were signing up without a link. After filling in the appropriate information, a verification code is emailed to you. Entering the one-time verification code completes the registration. Since we use a referral code, you can see the notification about the referral reward that will be applied during the next eSIM purchase. There are 3 types of eSIMs you can purchase. You can get a country-specific eSIM if you are just traveling to a single country, a regional eSIM for a group of countries, or a global eSIM for everywhere. Each eSIM works the same way. The only difference is where it works and how much your data costs. For example, if you're traveling to the United Kingdom, 5 gigabytes of data will cost you $15. If you choose a European regional SIM, that same 5 gigabytes of data will cost you $20. If you want 5 gigabytes on a global eSIM, that's going to cost $35. All 3 eSIMs would work exactly the same way in the UK, but you end up paying more per gigabyte to travel to multiple countries. My wife and I each used the Island Hopper Airlo eSIM for our Caribbean cruise. We took my parents on a Mediterranean cruise, so all 4 of us used Europe regional eSIMs. In this video, I will show you how I set up our Island Hopper eSIMs for the Caribbean. While most regions have multiple packages to choose from, the Caribbean regional eSIM only has a single Island Hopper package for 1 gigabyte and valid for 7 days. I set up our packages a couple of weeks before our trip to make sure it would be ready to go. The time doesn't start until you have actually activated the eSIM and connected to a carrier in the region it serves. In this case, my service will start once I connect to a carrier in the Caribbean region. The normal cost is $15, but I only had to pay $12 because of using the referral code. Once an eSIM is purchased, it needs to be installed. This only needs to be done once and is completed by tapping on the Install eSIM Access Data. This process is slightly different for each phone. I will show this process side by side with both of our Android phones. You can pause to see any detail if required. If you are enjoying this content, please like this video so others can see it too. Once the eSIM is installed, there are some important instructions on setting up your access point name or APN. If you look closely, you will see that the instructions are unique for each phone. I'm not sure how many phones they support with that custom instruction, but it is a nice touch. Setting up an eSIM on my parents' iPhones did not require any setup of an APN. My phone, which is a Samsung S22, needed to be restarted each time I turned the eSIM on or off. My wife's Google Pixel 7 and my parents' iPhones did not need to be restarted. You can see that after the initial install and setup, both phones show 2 active SIM cards in the top right. Now that we have installed the eSIMs, I turned off the Airlo eSIMs until we were ready to go at the airport. When it was time to go on our trip and we boarded the plane, I switched off my local eSIM and turned on the Airlo eSIM. This switch cannot be done while on airplane mode, so I wanted to make sure that I did the switch before we landed and our phones connected to the local carriers to incur some roaming charges. When we landed in Puerto Rico, I turned off airplane mode and both our phones connected right away to an LTE signal with excellent speeds. We had great connection on every island we stopped at. We started in Puerto Rico and made stops at Aruba, Curaçao, Bonaire, St. Lucia, and St. Kitts. We mostly took a bus or taxi from the cruise boat to the beach resort and had excellent connection everywhere that we went. We arrived a day early in Puerto Rico before our cruise left, so we needed data for 8 days. However, the Island Hopper package was only 7 days. The app was very informative, providing updates as data was used up and time was expiring. I was running low on the 1 gigabyte of data a few days from the end of the cruise, so purchased a data add-on package. Purchasing the data add-on package was the same price and process as the original package. Once the purchase was complete, I had the option of having it automatically activate when the first package expired, or I could activate it manually. I initially decided to let it activate automatically, but changed my mind and activated it manually. However, by the time I did this, my data was down to just 17 megabytes, and if I look at the timestamp, it looks like the new plan had already automatically activated about half hour before I tried to do it manually. Since my wife's data lasted the full 7 days, for my wife's phone, we opted to just return to our normal provider to make use of the Easy Roam feature. It was only 12 Canadian dollars per day in the US, which Puerto Rico was a part of. This was actually cheaper than purchasing another Island Hopper package. It was straightforward turning off the Airalo eSIM on her Pixel Pro 7. The phone was smart enough to notice that the phone had no active SIM cards and offered to activate our normal carrier. She selected yes and it connected right away. For my phone, after we had landed back in Canada, I turned off airplane mode, turned off my eSIM, and turned my normal SIM card back on. My phone required a restart to reconnect to our local carrier. Our next trip was to Europe for a Mediterranean cruise. I added a Eurolink eSIM for our phones on that trip, and it worked equally as well as we traveled to various parts of Italy, Greece, Montenegro, and Croatia. My niece used an Airlo eSIM for her trip to South America and had good success with it there. Based on my family's experiences with Airlo, I would definitely recommend it. Do you have an experience with Airlo that was different than mine? If so, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear your story. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. To see more content like this, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.